Today we're going to be meeting with Jeff Siddle, the owner of Pyro Junkie here in Tampa. This is an SBA loan I did back in 2019, and Jeff has done a tremendous job growing the business. And so we're going to talk to him about how he's grown the business, how he got into the firework business, and a little bit about work-life balance as well. You're watching Sterling SBA. Make sure to like and subscribe. Mr. Siddle.
What's up, Sterling? How you doing, brother?
How's it going?
All right, man.
It's been a while.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Man, I think it's probably been at least 4 or 5 years now, right?
Yeah.
Because when did you close? I think it was late 2019, I want to say.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because I know it was pre-2020 because you had that crazy 4th of July after the pandemic where nobody could go out anywhere. So fireworks was like the hot thing. Everyone was doing their own fireworks displays at home, and I think you guys absolutely crushed it that year.
Yes, you were allowed to shoot fireworks in your backyard with small setting of people, so it deemed well for us.
There you go. I mean, things have been going well for you since then, I'm assuming as well, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, show me around a little bit, man. It's been a while since I've actually been here. I obviously came when we were doing the loan, but that was, like I said, 4 or 5 years ago. So show us what you got going on a little bit.
Cool. All right. Well, this is our store here in Tampa, Pyro Junkie Fireworks. This is our retail store, right? Yeah. So anybody can come here any time of the year to buy fireworks for a celebration, for the 4th of July, for New Year's. As you can tell, we sell pieces, we sell cases to the public, but for the most part, this is kind of our setting where we go direct to the public.
And so let me ask you this. I mean, are you allowed to shoot fireworks off any time in Florida? Any day?
Yeah, so that's like a great question, right? So yes and no, right? So the law states you're allowed to legally shoot the fireworks 2 times a year.
Okay.
On the 4th of July and on the New Year's, right? Anyone can shoot off in the state of Florida without breaking any rules or requirements from the law, right?
Right.
There's also other ways you can shoot fireworks throughout the year, at a celebration, for a wedding, you see them at sporting events. So there's these little, I don't know if you want to call loopholes, but there's a way to still
We got to pull a permit or something like that, or?
Not all the time, but for some things, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So how did you get into the fireworks business? What attracted you to saying, hey, I want to own a fireworks business?
Yeah, so I never had like this crazy thing for fireworks necessarily per se. I was always an entrepreneur. Yeah. And many years ago, maybe 2007, I was having a party at my house for New Year's, and we bought fireworks. So we went to a fireworks store here in Tampa. Okay. Bought fireworks, and I just saw hundreds and hundreds of people lining up, filling their carts with fireworks. I'm like, all right, maybe there's something into the fireworks business, right? Sure. So I just started doing research. Within a year, I got on a plane, went to China, and just started figuring it out. And I started with tents. Yeah. So we opened up tents here in Tampa, and just kept going and going and going and building the tent business. And then this store here, Pyro Junkie Fireworks, came available.
Were you buying stuff from Pyro Junkies at the time? Or?
I was not, no. Okay. Yep, no, I purchased through other distributors in the U.S. and eventually directly with China. Okay. But then we acquired this location, which was just a retail store, a staple here in Tampa. Right. I want to say we started that deal around 2015, 2016.
Okay. Yeah, because it was a long process before you actually ended up buying her out. I do remember that.
Correct. Yep. Yeah.
So how many times have you actually been to China now?
Okay, so to be fair, I haven't gone back since COVID yet.
Oh, you haven't?
Not post-COVID. Okay. But before COVID, I was going 1 to 2 times a year.
Okay. So would you say probably 6, 7, 8, 10 times?
Yeah, I would say probably a dozen times or more.
You speaking the language at all?
I can order some food. I can order a beer.
Can you say I want to buy fireworks? Can I buy explosives?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I love that, man. So talk to me about how the business has grown since you acquired it, because obviously you bought this. This is a retail location, but I know you guys obviously do a lot more than just sell retail fireworks. Yeah.
So when we started in the tent business, right, it was just strictly retail. When we acquired this business, it was strictly just to the public retail. But part of our plan with acquiring this business was to take the name Pyro Junkie Fireworks and brand it and create a wholesale distribution model where we can supply other retailers all over the country. Right. So we've created We probably have over 500 items now with our brands, our logos on them that we source directly from our factories in China. And we've got distribution centers in Tennessee. We just added one in Mississippi. We do a lot of direct containers to different retailers across the country. So our B2B, our direct to the businesses, the other retailers, has actually outgrown our retail model.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's something that people need to know about the fireworks business that they maybe wouldn't know from the outside looking in? Because I'm sure it sounds super sexy, right? Sounds like you just blow shit up and have a great time. But what's something that people need to know?
Okay, so everyone thinks that we just work a couple weeks of the year. Yeah. That's like everyone, oh, awesome. So you just get to work a few weeks and you're done.
Right.
It's not the case, man. We are a full year-round business. We're importing almost 100 containers a year now. Dealing with the suppliers in China, the supply chain struggles, issues, it changes every year. So we're always moving. We're receiving containers all the time and shipping goods all the time throughout the year to the retailers.
So who's buying that stuff like in the middle of the year, in February, who's buying fireworks?
So from a retail standpoint, not a whole lot of action happens, right? You do have like your wedding sparklers. You've got people that now are really big into the it's a boy, it's a girl party, right? The gender reveals.
Yeah. Okay.
That's become a big thing.
Sure.
But generally speaking, a lot of the consumers come buy their fireworks for the 4th of July, right? To celebrate Independence Day. And then for New Year's, right? In Florida, we get a New Year's business because it's not snow and people can, celebrate when it's not too cold out.
Yeah.
But the further north you go, there's no business for New Year's Eve. It's just too cold.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, relatively speaking, a lot of our big sales leading up to the 4th of July are to other businesses who are preparing in their fireworks business to sell out of their stands, their tents, or their stores.
Got it. So you've kind of made your way up the food chain now where basically, you are the plug. It's like you're the distributor basically, and you bring it, and the people who are doing all these, you see all these firework tents all around town in July. It's like in the Walmart parking lot or wherever it may be. And so they have to buy their fireworks from somewhere, and you are the person that they can buy from now.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yep. So what made you decide that entrepreneurship was the path for you, that you weren't going to be a 9-to-5 guy?
So for me, I knew it was in my blood as a kid. Like I was always trying to figure out how to make money as a kid, whether it was like, sweeping someone's sidewalk when I was really young, or buying candy on 90% discount clearance after Valentine's Day to resell it on the school bus going home. Like, I don't know. I had that mentality growing up. So I always knew I wanted to own a business. It was just in me. Like when I went to college, I took all the business finance courses I possibly could. And then once I went through them, I dropped out and started what's now the Fireworks company today.
I feel like I hear that with a lot of entrepreneurs. It's like there was never another option. It was always going to be this, because it's not easier to be an entrepreneur. People sometimes think it is. They think it's more glamorous than it really is, but it's a lot of hard work. Like you said, it's a full year-round type of thing, and you really don't have days off. You are the business.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and when you're in any business, when you start off, it's, you're going to learn the hard way in a lot of cases.
Sure.
Like, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, and a lot of people don't necessarily see that all the time. Like, they see successful companies, they think, oh man, this is great,
Right.
But they don't realize the hard work and the struggles it took to potentially get to that point.
Yeah.
And not all businesses make it, right? So people struggle trying to go for it.
Yeah, a lot of businesses do not make it, and that's why one of the things that we talk about is that, I preach buy often over build, business acquisition versus doing a ground up startup, because the chances of startups actually being successful are very low.
No doubt.
A lot of businesses just fail, and you just never hear about them because they just kind of go away.
Right.
Whereas business acquisitions do have a higher likelihood of success. I mean, obviously you've done both at this point. Do you feel like one was easier than the other?
I would agree with you. Acquiring companies is probably a little less risky as long as you know what you're buying. Right. You vet that business properly. You figure out your return on it, and you can expand on it.
Sure.
When you start one, you're right. There's a risk, right?
Yeah.
You just don't know what you don't know yet.
Exactly.
So you can do all the pro formas and the ideas you think what's going to be successful, but until you truly test it, invest in it, and put the effort in, you really don't know. Yeah.
And that's why a key thing that we always look for when we're underwriting somebody to acquire a business is industry experience.
Sure.
And obviously you came to us, you had already been in the fireworks business, you had your tents around town. So this was basically a natural expansion of what you already had going on, where, you know, it'd have been different if you were working in restaurants and you said, hey, I want to come buy a fireworks retailer.
Right.
It's like, well, why? You know, what's your skill set? You know, but
sure.
You had a full vision. You know, obviously you've been able to make that happen now with you actually doing the distribution, because that's what you told us you were going to do.
Right.
And you hadn't been doing it yet, but we saw the vision, and obviously it's been hugely successful for you. So talk to me about, you know, when you talk about being an entrepreneur and the hard work that goes into it. Obviously you're a family man. You have 3 kids. You have a wife. How hard is it to balance that work-life balance of having a family and also having a business?
Yeah. So to be fair, in the beginning of my marriage and having kids, I worked my butt off. I probably worked harder than most people would have. I carried so many hats. I mean, there were so many times where my wife was almost a single mom because I was always working, right?
Yeah.
And so that has I mean, that weighs heavy on a relationship, a family, right? And so it took me some time to figure out, okay, I can't keep doing it like this, right?
Yeah.
So at some point, I figured out how to hire more people, right?
How to delegate.
How to delegate, right? And that's something that I wish I learned earlier, to be honest. Because most business owners or entrepreneurs think, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do that. I can save the cost of maybe hiring someone to do it, right? But at the end of the day, if you hire good people, that's going to be one of the best investments any entrepreneur can make, right? Because that person's going to do the job and hopefully do better for you than your expectation if you manage people properly. And
sure.
You know, so I wish I learned that earlier. But yes, it's one of the hardest things to figure out how much an entrepreneur should do versus hire out, because it's a cost analysis, right? So
yeah. Now I heard someone say if someone can do the job 80% as well as you can do the job, you should just hire them and delegate it. So obviously we talked about family and your kids. Talk to me about safety a little bit. I mean, do you let your kids play with these fireworks?
Okay, great question. And I have 3 young kids. They're all in elementary school. And the answer is generally no, right? So obviously we let our kids have sparklers. We let them play with maybe some of the things that don't shoot or explode, like a smoke item or something that's safe and stays on the ground, right? Mm-hmm. But all the stuff that shoots off the ground, we don't let the kids mess with it. It's always one of us.
You recommend 18 plus for this?
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt. And the other thing I would say for anybody is, you know, it's so important to buy your fireworks from a reputable dealer, right? I can't stress this enough. Trying to buy something from out of somebody's garage or the back of their trunk of their vehicle is where we get into trouble.
Right.
You know, all of our items that we sell in our store and our distribution, we're regulated by the DOT. They've been deemed safe to be in the United States, safe for the general public.
Sure.
So it's so important to always buy your fireworks from a reputable person and not someone who knows somebody who made something in their backyard or their garage, and now you're trying, that's where we run into problems. So it's so key.
That's how you end up leaving with less fingers than you came with.
Yeah, and nobody wants that.
All right, so we've seen the front of the house. Looks absolutely fantastic. But I want to see the nuts and bolts. I want to see behind the scenes, the distribution side of things. Yeah. So you want to come show me the warehouse?
Let's do it, man. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Man. This is bigger than I actually expected it to be. How much do you have in fireworks here? Or how many fireworks are here currently?
Yeah, so we can warehouse about 7 containers of product here. And to be fair, this facility, it's bigger for a retail distribution, but from our wholesale standpoint, it's super small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you guys have warehouses in Tennessee, and you said you just opened another one where?
In Mississippi, just outside of Jackson, Mississippi, and that one's like just shy of 70,000 square feet.
Oh wow!
So we can hold a lot of product there, and our Tennessee property is pretty big as well. So most of our distribution comes from those 2 points, but we do offer distribution from Florida, from this location. A lot of pickup guys come here
because they're coming in. I mean, I'm assuming fresh off the boat in those large containers, those large shipping containers that you see straight from mainland China. Yep. And so you guys are essentially warehousing it there. And then you have the stock, right? And you can just distribute it as you see fit. And I mean, I'm assuming there's no like shelf life on these, right? I mean,
yeah, as long as they stay dry, they don't get wet, they actually can get a little better over time. The powders inside, get drier over time, and they perform better actually. Yeah.
Awesome. So talk to me a little bit about the SBA experience and what that was like for you. I mean, have you gotten any other SBA loans since the one that we did together?
Well, we actually got out of that SBA loan right before COVID, when the interest rates were going extremely high post-COVID. And but the SBA loan's been awesome. I mean, without it, I wouldn't have been able to acquire this business, this property, right? So it was a huge tool, which has led to our success up to this point, for sure.
And that's the thing about SBA, is that really SBA is designed to be gap financing. The thought process behind it is that it'll get you into a business like this now, where a bank probably wouldn't want to do this type of a loan conventionally, because there's really not collateral behind it, and business acquisitions can be a little bit more on the risky side, especially with there being no collateral. But the thought process is, once you get into it and you've operated it for a couple of years, there is always an opportunity for you to refinance into something conventional, into something different, get the interest rate back down. So is that what you did? You went conventional?
We did. And honestly, our building appreciated, right? And so the loan we had left on our SBA, which was partial building, partial business product loan within that, we were able to go into a conventional just real estate loan because the building created value. Which
that's an awesome thing right there. That's a great story, because again, with SBA, you can do business and real estate combined, right? So it was one loan, but we knew that there was obviously the real estate that was coming along with the business. And so we were able to get you a slightly longer term than 10 years as well.
Correct.
Because we were looking at the real estate value, and we weighted those proceeds against the business acquisition value. And then obviously, a couple of years went by. We know the real estate market, especially post-COVID, went super high here in Florida. So it ended up being a great business deal for you. And then you refied into something with a much lower rate, longer term as well, I'm sure, just based off the real estate value alone. So really, in a way, this warehouse is what ended up, paying for itself, right? So,
for sure.
All right, so last question for you. What's your favorite firework?
Okay, tough one. I like a lot of fireworks, all different kinds. I think for me personally, I'll probably go with, we have these things called finale sets, where there's 3 boxes that come with this case. And it's designed to be shot together. And so when you light them all together, you put the fuses together, it shoots out this awesome finale where the shots are going up like 150, 200 feet tall, big full breaks. And
am I allowed to buy something like this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Definitely.
This is like street legal.
Absolutely. Everything we sell is street legal for sure. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
And how much does something like that cost?
We sell them anywhere from like between $100 to $200, but you're going to get a really awesome end of the show finale experience where people are just going to be in awe. So,
and just so you guys know, Jeff did just make 40 under 42 for Tampa Bay Business Journal. I was there for your 40 under 40 night, and he put on the fireworks display for the entire event, and it was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Were those street legal as well?
Not all of those.
Okay. I was gonna say, some of those looked a little,
50-50.
But that's why we had the professional there. That's what it's all about. So, Jeff, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, brother. Yeah,
it's always a pleasure.
It,
and we should make sure it's not another 5 years before I see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Get another loan on the books.
Absolutely. If you just watched the latest episode of Sterling SBA, we met with Jeff Siddle with Pyro Junkies. And guys, if you're looking to buy fireworks in Tampa, this is the place to do it, right here on Nebraska Avenue. Jeff was nice enough to talk to us about his retail business and how he's grown it into a distribution empire. Stay tuned for the next episode of Sterling SBA coming to you soon.